This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Today we're dealing with a very common problem, and that's the LG washing machine drain motor that stops working. Here's the part number. And the LG makes a great washing machine, but their drain pumps do not last. Very inferior quality. And unfortunately, there's not really a better one, so we're just going to be replacing it with the same one as before. We're going to take out two Phillips head screws here near the coin trap. We're going to take off this bottom panel. This is on the washer-dryer combination model. The other models, you can't take this bottom panel off like this. There's a different way to get to it. But on this model, makes it pretty easy. I'm just using a standard head screwdriver to help pry it out. Again, this is the washer-dryer combination model. I'm going to take out three Phillips head screws that are holding the drain assembly in position. Really easy to do, actually. And we don't have to disconnect any hoses when we use this technique. I'm going to unplug it and then pull the machine out away.
Hey guys, can you take just a second to click on the subscription link below? It really helps our channel, and also the bell notification, so every time we make a new video, we can send it right to you. We make a new video about once every week. Really appreciate that, and if you give us a thumbs up, it'd be great. Thank you.
From the wall so that I can lean it back to about 45 degrees. This is going to make it easier to get to some of the parts. When you lean it back, take your time so you don't hurt your back, and make sure that it won't fall forward. You might want to put something underneath it to make sure it's supported. So I'm leaning it back to 45 degrees because I got to get to a little part underneath. So again, we're going to make sure it's supported, and took off the two power connections to the drain. And now underneath it, there's a little clip that we have to use a standard head screwdriver to pry out toward us as we push in on the coin trap, and that's going to loosen up the whole drain assembly. We got to get it loose so we can get to it easier. We don't have to take off any hoses with this procedure, but it's a little bit hard to get to these three screws that we have to take off to get the drain motor off. Here's an example of where the three screws are. So we have one at the 12 o'clock position, one at 4 o'clock, and one at 7 o'clock. So I'm just spinning those off. And you can grab the whole pump assembly because it is loose, and you can twist it to get to these screws. Just take your time, get a nice flashlight there so you can see what you're doing. There's just three of them, and we've already got the power wires off. So the only thing holding this motor on are those three screws. Spin off that third one, and then you just grab the whole motor and pull it towards you. It'll come loose pretty easily. Just kind of wiggle it, pull it out. There we go. And what I noticed with this one is when I spun it, it had just an even feel to the spin, but it shouldn't have that feel. A brand new one will have more of a kind of a ratcheted feeling when you spin it. There's a magnet that's holding it in place, so it'll spin easily, and then it'll be difficult, easy, difficult, easy, difficult. That's a new one. And the old one just spun without any resistance, really. So it told me that the shaft had come disconnected somehow. It's just not really made well. So here's the new one. I'm going to put it onto the pump housing, and I want to put it in at about 45 degrees to the pump housing, just like when I took it off. You might want to look at it carefully when you take it off to get the same angle. I'm going to push it in as flat as it'll go, and then I'll start putting in those three Phillips head screws. I'm going to put in one screw first and then tighten it down. That'll just kind of help me hold it in position while I get the other two in. So a little awkward here. We don't have much room to work, but it's okay to grab the whole pump housing and twist it so that you can see better what you're doing. The hoses give you a little bit of play. You can see it's pretty easy to move it around. So I'm lifting it and twisting it so I can see better. Putting in the second screw. And because you don't have to take off any hoses, this procedure is pretty fast. So zip in the next one, make sure they're all tight. We have to make sure that the motor is sitting tightly against the housing, that there's no gap, because we don't want it to leak. So it looks good. We're going to just slide the housing back into position, get the coin trap back in where it's supposed to go, and we'll add those 3 screws back in, the 3 Phillips head screws on the front. So I'm going to kind of push in the coin trap to the 12 o'clock position first, make sure the upper part fits through the frame, then I'll push in the bottom, and then I'll put in the 3 screws. Putting the power wires back on the pump, there's 2 of them. Take your time here, make sure the spade connectors really get on there tight. I'm going to feed this little drain tube back through the hole in the frame. And then we're just going to put the plastic front lower panel back in. I'll feed that drain tube through a little hole in that panel. And then the bottom is held on by 3 clips. I'm just going to rest it back down on the clips, and then I'll just push it in and it'll lock into place. Pretty cool design. And now I have 2 Phillips, I put the coin trap back in, and I also have 2 Phillips head screws I've got to put in to hold this bottom panel on. So get that tight so it won't leak. I'll zip in that one. Then the lower one. And we'll get this little drain tube back in where it's supposed to go. Put on the pump inspection panel. And then we're going to carefully lower the washing machine back down. Remember, this is the washer-dryer combination. We're going to push it back into the closet, plug it in, and then give it a test. So very common for these LG pumps to get an OE error, which means that they can't get out the water, and it's almost always due to a faulty pump. You should always check the coin trap first, but it's usually the pump has just given up, usually about at the 8-year mark. So I'm filling it with water. You can see there's a lot of water in there, and I'll set it to drain, set it for drain and spin, and we'll make sure the drain's working. So I paused it, put it at drain spin, then started it. Yeah, that's great. I can hear the drain starting to spin. There we go. The only other thing we may have to add to this procedure is just to bail out water before we start taking the pump motor out to make sure you don't get any leaks. This one had already had the water taken out. So you are all set, back to normal. Got a good running LG.
Thanks so much for watching our video. Please leave any comments or questions in the comment section below. We really appreciate that. We have a really nice video coming up for you right here that I think you'll enjoy. Very similar, dealing with appliance repair. So thanks again for watching our video.